Hello, welcome to Web Design 1 and the spring semester 2024 at Cecil College. I thought I would make this video as a sort of introduction to the course, just to introduce myself, the course, and basically just show you how to navigate the course so that way you can hit the ground running. Because this is an asynchronous online course, I just want to make sure that we're, set up to go. Okay, so without further ado, let's go. So I am John Cohn. I'm one of the full-time faculty members at Cecil College. One of the full-time faculty members at Cecil College in visual communications. I am responsible basically for the game and simulation design programs as well as the web design programs. I teach everything from like animation, 2D and 3D animation to computer graphics, graphic design, web design, interactive media, that sort of stuff. I basically do not teach anything with a lens, so no photography and no videography. Really, my main passion in my degree and my professional work has been animation. So if you click on this, you can see some visualization work that I've done. Okay, so that's who I am. That's what I know. Nice to meet you. You can. These are my office hours right here. I wouldn't just show up. So this is in the VCP lab. It's basically the main lab. If you go into the Arts and Sciences building, you go all the way to the basement and navigate around till you'll find the lab. And if you find the lab, you'll find me. But I don't suggest just showing up there because a lot of times I have meetings and things, and they might be during the lab or I'm running around doing whatever. So, or during my office hours. So you might not want to. I wouldn't necessarily contact me that way. I wouldn't just show up. Even if you do want to meet in person, I would still just email me. I suggest just emailing in general because most of the time I can solve it with just what happens is you'll have a problem, you'll email me. Hopefully I can solve it with just writing it out. If I can't, then usually what I do is I make a video and I explain how to solve it. A lot of times what I'll do is I'll just take your work and I'll just work over top of it, solve it for you, and then I'll send you back the video and the file, and then we're all good. Okay, so just jcohn@cecil.edu. That's probably the best way. I try to stay on top of my email, so hopefully I will respond within a day or two. Hopefully that all makes sense. Okay. Next is, who are you? Don't talk to me right now. I can't hear you. But what you could do is look at these questions, and then when you are done with those, when you look at those questions, go ahead and put that into the introduction discussion board on Canvas. I have a little link right here. But tell me about yourself. More or less, what I want to know is your name. If you have a preferred, like, if your preferred name is not like your birth name, that let me know if you have a different pronoun, any of that sort of thing. But more importantly, what I'd like to know is, like, what's your experience like? Do you come more from a coding background? Do you come more from a graphics background? It lets me know like what I'm, who I'm dealing with and like what your skill levels are at. Any experience you have just in general, and why are you taking the course? So a lot of people actually take this course for because they want to make a website, like personal website, or they're just doing personal enrichment. But there are obviously quite a few also that it's required. So this is obviously a required course for the web design program at in VCP, but I also know it's required for a lot of the computer science courses as well, computer science programs. So anyway, just respond to those, so on and so forth. Okay, so this is Web Design 1, Design Fundamentals. Basically, what we're going to do is we're going to teach you how to create, we're going to teach you how to hard code web pages. Meaning you're going to write HTML documents, CSS documents, and incorporate some JavaScript. You won't really write any JavaScript. You will also learn a little bit of CMS, content management system, like WordPress is what we're going to be using. That's actually what my website is made in. But more or less, you're just going to learn how to create a web page. It's a really good introduction to coding in general because it's a markup language. HTML is, so it's much simpler in a lot of ways compared to like JavaScript or Python or C# or something. We use C# in the game design class. Those are like programming and scripting languages, so they're like a level above. This is a bit simpler, so it's a good intro to that sort of thing. Okay, as far as our work is concerned, you're basically going to have 3 assignments. You'll have labs, projects, and discussion boards. Okay, so the labs, basically these are meant to mimic having in class time what we would do in class. They'll be due every week, more or less, unless we have a project due that week. And what you're going to do is you're just going to look at the materials I give you, and then you're going to follow this tutorial, and you're just going to complete the tutorial because that's what we would have done in class, and then you'll submit it. They're basically kind of smaller assignments. They'll probably take you, it depends on your level. They can take you anywhere from like, I don't know, half an hour to 3 hours, depending. I mean, like there's some people that really struggle with this basic stuff. With just coding in general, just because it's very foreign. And then there's some people who have experience, and you just fly through it. So there's quite a range of students that take this course. So, anyways, we'll have those lab assignments. We'll basically do every week. It's just to prove that you did the stuff. Then you'll have 3 major projects, which is I'll have some parameters. I'll have a prompt, and then you more or less what we've been doing in the labs the entire time. You will complete in the project, but on your own and doing something, going farther with it, making it more your own, that sort of thing. Okay. And that's really where the fun stuff is. And then there'll be 4 discussion posts or boards. So basically, the first one is just the introduction one, just what I already did up there. And then the other 3 are for each project. So every time you complete a project, you also will submit a discussion board. So what you're going to do is you're going to post more or less your work, like your web page that you made. And then you're also going to comment on at least 2 people's posts. Okay, so you need to make a post of your own and then comment on 2. The idea behind this is that if we were doing this class in person, we would all show our work and then we'd all critique it and you get feedback. This is just so you can see what other people are doing, so that you can get feedback from other people, that sort of thing. All right, so it's just more mimic. I know everyone loves discussion boards. I love them too. They're my favorite. But it's it's the best we have to replicating an in-class environment. So that's what we're going to be using. We will be using Canvas. So I don't know if you used this last semester. Cecil is transitioning to Canvas from Blackboard. It's just another LMS, learning management system. It's a little bit more modern, is what I would say. The UI is more vertical, so it's much more mobile first, responsive. It's mobile ready, so it's a little bit easier to read on a phone as opposed to Blackboard, which is very kind of like 90s web design. They really haven't updated the UI. So that's the real big difference. But you'll see it's pretty, especially on your end, it's very user friendly. You just kind of go from the top and work your way down. It should be pretty straightforward. So you can go ahead and click on this, although this is actually going to be an announcement. So you're probably already in Canvas, but if you are, you can just go right there. But if you're here, you can click on this, and that will bring you here. So what I'm going to do is every week I'll probably just do an announcement saying, hey, we're working on whatever. And it's just a reminder that you're in the course and you need to do work every semester or every week. So you should see announcements. And then from there, all you're going to do is you're just basically, so hopefully when you open up, it should look like this. If it doesn't look like this, you can just click on modules, and then you will see the modules. Okay, so each one of these things is one module, and each module is 1 week, as you can probably tell. Okay, so in module 1, so I have class 1, says January 15th, so that's the first week of that that week, right? It's the first day of the week, and then you'll see here's January 22nd. That's the first day of that week. So that way you'll know where you're supposed to be. I just put it right in the title, so hopefully that helps. Also, what you'll notice is that the assignments have the due date on them. So you see it says January 22nd. So you should hopefully be able to see that as well. All right. So all you're going to do is you're going to log into Canvas, and you're just going to start from the top and work your way down. So you can click on introduction, although don't, because it's just like pedagogy stuff. It's just saying, this is what we're working on, and this is what you should be learning, and this is the things that we're doing. Yay. You don't really need to click on it, but just if you wanted to, there it is. There's the resources, which for the most part doesn't have too much. I just have like the link. I think I used the same one in all of them. It's just a link to Visual Studio Code, which is the text editor that I suggest using, but you don't have to use that necessarily. And then the W3 schools, because it's just got a lot of good reference material and stuff that you can look up if you're stuck on something, and they'll have more examples than, obviously my website, because there's a limit. Okay. All right, so that's resources, and then you'll see class 01 lecture. Basically, that is just a URL, uniform resource link to my website. So if you click on it, it's going to go to my. I've just middle clicked. That opens up the web, like a link in a new tab. I don't know if you knew that. Middle click is a handy thing. That's going to bring you here, and all you're going to do is you're just going to start from the top and you just work your way down through the materials, and then at the very bottom you'll see here's the assignment. Week 1, blah, 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 blah. It is the same as what is here. So if I click on this, you'll see this text is the same text that's here, slightly formatted differently just because they're on top of each other, but it's the same text as what's there, okay? And then underneath that, you'll see a tutorial slideshow, okay? So one other thing, when you are going through the site, you will notice that there's this little video on the left here. Basically, what I tried to do to make things a little bit easier, because it's one thing to read text, but it's kind of boring. So what you can actually do is if you click on this little next button, it goes to each section, and then it's a video of me talking, and you click next. Then you can go to previous ones as well, okay? So each section, basically I have a video for each little chunk here, which I think is kind of handy. So you could just kind of go through this. So if you like a more traditional kind of lecture, you kind of just keep clicking next, and then it will just keep going to the next chapter bookmark inside of the web page. Okay, so you can go like that. Yay! So just keep clicking. And then the one issue I have with this though is that when you get to the end here, it's sort of in the way. So if you keep clicking next, you'll get to, let me see, what previous won't go to it. So I got to go all the way down. So I should put a previous on the first page. The very last slide is empty, and that's just so that it's not in the way. So hang on. There, see how it's empty? And that way you can do this a little bit easier. Okay, so when you go to the tutorial, more or less on the assignments here, I want you to kind of basically do what I do, but feel free to adjust it and change it. In fact, I'd like you to. I'd like you to play around with it and do more than what I put there. So like if I have pictures or I have text, replace the text with your text. You know what I mean? Like write about you, not about me. Put a picture of you, not a picture of me. Those sort of things would be nice because it makes it more enjoyable for myself. But when you get to the bottom here, this is more or less a tutorial video. So again, each one has a video. And then there'll be some written. The first slide's a little bit different. I click on the next one, and then there'll be some written instructions. Then there's a video here. And then you click on the next one. And then again, video, written instructions, some imagery to kind of help illustrate. When we get into code, I'll have like examples of the code on the left. Again, written instructions, video. All right. And if you really want to look at the video closer, you could just click on the YouTube link, and that should open it up.
All right. So we have our head.
Yeah. I have it muted. I don't know if you see that. I don't like listening to myself. But if you need it bigger or something, you click on it here. Just follow the videos. It's fine too. But I try to do it here because that way you can kind of see it. Because otherwise you're trying to look at the text on the video, and there's temporal and spatial compression, and it's just not as good. So more or less, and then if you look at the top, you can see how many there are. So I'm on slide 7 of 11, and then you just kind of go through, and then when it's done, then there'll be the final thing where you, there you go. Final thing where you basically submit it, and then voila, you're done. Okay. And you'll see that is the way that it is on every one of the assignments. So if I go to the second week, you'll see there's introduction, resource, the lecture. Click on the lecture, and it's going to go here. You can use this little thing here to just go to the next section each time. You can also just scroll if you want to just ignore that. That's fine. And then you get to the bottom. It'll tell you what the lab is. Okay. Then right here, you'll just, again, go through the slideshow. I also made this responsive. So if you snap it, it should be responsive. So if you snap it to the side and you want to work on the other side, you're going to have to re-scroll down. But you can scroll down. You'll see that this should fit on, let's do this so that way it's not in the way again. I'm actually redesigning this so that this thing isn't really as much of an issue. But I like having it there for you guys as much as it's annoying. There we go. So I would just scroll all the way, and then you can just snap this to the one side and then put your text document on this side, right? So we would just do Visual Studio Code, and then you would just take this guy, and then, and then you could just snap it here, and then, nope, don't save. And you could have your script, you're working over here, and then this over here, and then you have kind of both on both sides. All right. So hopefully that makes sense. I make a lot of, like, my last name's Cone, so I make a lot of stupid cone illustrations just to try and keep things interesting because it's kind of boring. Sometimes it can be kind of boring. Okay, so you're going to start at the top, work your way down. The other thing I did, because this class is already, like, I've done this one a bunch of times, I already have all of the modules unlocked. So if you want to work ahead, go for it. Okay, I really don't care. Have that. When you are done, you're going to want to, oh, you know what? I think I have you do it. I think the tutorials actually are in Blackboard, but you're just going to go in here. You're going to click on the assignment, right? So I just showed you lecture, the assignment. So you click on the assignment here. You'll see this is this. You'll see the rubric underneath. And then there should be like a section that says like submit, and you just like drag a file into it, or you can click on it. You're just going to make a zip folder, and you're going to submit it, and then you're going to submit it, and then I will grade it. Okay. They should be pretty straightforward, the assignments. There's also an introduction, so you click on the introductions here, and then you'll see you'll put a post here introducing yourself. And then, not everyone has an introduction or a discussion board, just the main ones. As far as like assignments are concerned, the way that it works, as far as the class is that I will give you materials they're already all unlocked, but you'll start the materials on the Monday of the week. Okay. And then everything is due by the end of the next Monday. So you have one complete week to do, which means before Sunday, your stuff should be turned in. Okay. And then you'll start the next week's materials, like basically this module. You'll start the next module, and everything is due in that module by the next week. As far as the late grading policy is concerned, what I do is that if it's late, 1 day late, or till the end of the semester late, I give you a 1-letter grade reduction. So basically, if you did it 100%, you'll get an 85 or a B on the assignment if it's late. I give it to you all the way to the end, just because I don't like it when they keep knocking it down, because then it gets to the point where it's like, why would you even bother? And once you start having zeros on assignments, then it makes it really hard to pass. You can also, if you submit an assignment and you don't get a good grade, you can totally submit it again for a higher grade. That's the whole point of this course, right? Is that to learn. So if I'm like, oh, these things are wrong, you can resubmit it and then get a higher grade for it. So that being said, if it's late, you're still going to, the max you're going to get is whatever that late grade assignment is. Like the highest you'll get will be a B, but you can keep submitting. So I have no problems with that either. Let's see, is there anything else? When you want to look at your grades, just go to the grades section here, and you'll see your grades will be posted here. Okay. You can see what your total grades are, what the grades are on each one of the sections, things like that. I think that's everything. So if you have any questions or concerns, let me know. Other than that, hopefully this is straightforward enough. I look forward to seeing your guys' work. Like I said, feel free to go above and beyond as far as the assignment's concerned. I just need to make sure that you are doing like the bare, like put a link in it. It has to have a link in it, but you can make that link go anywhere. I don't really care. I just want you to show me that you at least know the base stuff. You can definitely go beyond. All right, so we will see you later.